All right. Welcome back today, folks. Welcome back. Look at me. Look at me. I paid for HD. I sucked it up and I opened my wallet. I'm looking at this TV. Oh, this TV isn't 1080p. That's why. For some reason it's not. But I sucked it up. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the lighting right with the HD. But got it there. Paid for it. For you. But we're here because I realized that there's an interview out right now with Gina Carano and Ben Shapiro, and I figured we could watch it together and make fun of it. I don't know about you, but Ben Shapiro really aggravates me, like really aggravates me. But we'll talk about cancel culture. We'll talk about Disney Plus. We'll talk about Gina Carano, and we'll talk about Lucasfilm and whether or not whether or not Gina should have been terminated, whether or not that's the way they should have went. But we'll take a look at all of it. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Join our Patreon club. Join our private Discord server. Join the club. It's a really good time. We've just been adding members all day. Shout out Caden Reed, by the way. He's been doing a lot of work on the on that side of things, adding people in. I really do appreciate that, Caden. So join the club. We just started it. We got three members so far: Caden Reed, Nick DePalma, and Odd. And I appreciate every single one of you more than you would understand. But like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel or join the Patreon. It's really a good time. Plenty of early access stuff. We have so much in the works. It's not even funny. So much in the works. Jack, what's going on, brother? What's going on, brother? Jack, I paid for some HD. I paid the extra $21 a month. It's whatever, but I do it for you. That's why I paid that, as I paid it for you, Jack. Specifically you, I paid it for. But yeah, so we're always dropping new content. We do it for you. We do it for you, and we do it for the culture, guys. Without wasting too much time, let's get this going. Let's get it going. So I'm going to pull up the Gina Carano interview here. All right, so I got it up now. Let me get the banner out of here. All right, so I got it up. Look at her. I didn't realize. I forgot that she's like a real. Don't you forget sometimes that people, like actors, are real human beings and they dress differently outside their roles? I forget sometimes. And then when you see them in clothes that like aren't their set clothes, you're like, whoa, you're telling me that you have a life outside of this? No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. And yeah, we could talk about that Snyder article. That's for sure. All right, do you guys want to do that first? You want to talk about Snyder first, or you want to like run through the this interview first? It's up to you guys. I'm willing to do both. I have to stay up because I'm going to be on midnight run with Nicotina tonight. So I had to figure out a way to stay awake. So let me pull up the Vanity Fair article. Let's do that first. Where is it? Pause for one moment, folks. Pause for one moment. What's good, Will Diesel? What's good? This dude loves Big Drip. Shout out Will Diesel for his support on the vodka stream the other night. That was it was awesome. I loved it. It was making me laugh. Although I don't know if your intentions towards Enosh were were warranted. Oh man, that was funny. This dude was cracking me the fuck up. And if you go back and watch that vodka stream, I was geeking out laughing. I had to shut my camera off a couple times because I was laughing so much. And yeah, I figured that the drank took you. The drank was taking you. So what did you guys want to hear? What? No, I'm going to be on Nicotina's stream tonight, so I got to stay up. I got to stay awake, guys. I got to stay awake. So what do you guys want to do first? What's up, Ryan? Do you guys want to read the Vanity Fair article, or do you want to watch Gina Carano's interview? Because we're doing both. We're doing both. But which one do you want to do first is the question. Can I get some votes so I'm not like making anyone mad? Can I get a couple votes? While you vote, I'm going to open a tab and I'm going to look up the Vanity Fair article. So, yeah, so I was I'll tell you a little story. So I was getting ready for this, right? I was getting ready and I was like, listen, how am I going to stay up? I was like, homeboy wants me to come on the stream tonight. So how am I going to stay awake? So I decided that I would do a stream. Like, what else would I do? Because I have no fucking life. I'm a nobody, right? I'm a nobody. Just kidding. I'm not a nobody. But I have no life. My doggy's right here. My ex moved out, right? She's gone. So I got nothing to do. So I was like, let's stream. Let's do that. Let's do that stream. But I pulled it up and it was looking mighty blurry. So yeah. This is what I don't like about StreamYard. Is so there's the free tier, right? And you have to like in the corner it does this. Watch, it will have this little logo. In the corner it will have powered by StreamYard. So nobody wants that. So the next tier up gets you everything you need, and then you can change that shit, and you can do 720p blah blah blah, which is technically HD. In 1999 it was HD. But yeah, so there's that, right? That's $25 a month. That's like typical, right? The next one up, you don't get really much more. You get to stream to more platforms at once, and then you get 1080p. And it's $49 a month to stream. Like, I could understand if it was like 35, 36, but to jump at $25 just to stream in 1080p is fucking crazy. StreamYard, like, literally get out of here. But you forced my hand, so I had to do it. Let's talk Gina. I got a lot of Ginas, man. I got a lot of Ginas. Ryan, you're gonna be on tonight? All right. I love it. I got a lot of Gina votes, so let's watch the Gina thing first. We'll talk about the best for last night or last. Okay. We'll do the Vanity Fair article last. Right now we're gonna watch the Gina Carano thingy. We'll skip through a couple parts. I don't know if you guys watched it yet, but Ben Shapiro does this fucking thing that drives me up a wall. First off, he's alive. Just kidding, but kinda. Maybe not. That's what he does, right? So he's super annoying, and like he'll be like, yeah, and like we're having this great conversation. Hey, subscribe to VPN. ExpressVPN. You should subscribe to expressvpn.com, expressvpn.com. And he says it 300 fucking times. Jesus Christ. Something wrong with you, boy. Your mom dropped you on your goddamn head, didn't she? I heard you the first time that you said ExpressVPN. My Lord. And of course, he's got like a ExpressVPN commercial on his channel because he hates big tech. Shut up, Ben. God, you're so annoying. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to get into that rant. I didn't mean to yell like that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean any of that. Don't cancel me, please. Please don't cancel me. Ben Chabibio. Oh, God. He's such an interesting fella, that's for sure. He's an interesting fella, that's for sure. All right, so let me get my screen shared here. How's everyone doing tonight? You guys doing good? Yeah, we're doing good. Anyone watch Film Junkie? You guys watch Film Junkie? You better have. You gotta support everybody out here. Gotta support everybody out here, guys. Gotta support everyone. And yeah, you definitely gotta say sorry to Enosh next time you see him. That was rough. It was rough. I bet that hangover in the morning was mighty heavy on the. You took the vodka stream to the next level. I gotta say, Will. I gotta say. Before we start this interview, guys, I just want to let you know. we are looking for Patreons right now. That's how we support the channel. It's $5 a month, and I do things all the time. I'm a very nice guy. Send you gifts, whatever, discounts, whatever. I spend so much money on this channel. It's not even funny. I've spent like $1,400 just upgrading this room, like different wallpaper and shelves, and buying 1080p for StreamYard, which costs me $50 a month. Paying for the editing software, which is pretty expensive because I use 3 different ones. I do a lot, so if you can join a Patreon, it definitely helps. It definitely supports us, and we do appreciate it. But let's get to this. Let's get to this Gina Carano shit. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So I'm going to start it in the beginning.
You'll have access to all of the full conversations with everyone of our awesome guest, Gina Carano. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Right, can you guys hear that?
I'm not just stopping by. I'm like,
can you guys hear that? Let me know if you can hear it.
I'm coming in for the hugs.
So why don't we start with, the actual topic of the day, which is what exactly happens. You've said before that you felt like you were sort of on thin ice with Disney Plus and Lucasfilm for a while. What gave you that first indicator? First of all, why don't we start from the very beginning? How did you get cast in the show, The Mandalorian, to begin with?
That makes a lot of sense.
I was sitting on my couch, and
what's
up,
Mighty Booyah?
I have to take this more seriously. I have to take acting more seriously. I have to really I have to give it my all.
Okay.
Because if I don't take myself seriously as an actor, then who else is going to?
We can hear, brother.
And as soon as I said that, 5 minutes later, my agent at the time.
I wonder if I get taken down for this.
Jon Favreau wants to meet with you.
I don't know.
I was like, yes, absolutely. And
do you think I'll get taken down for sharing this?
We set up a meeting, and
do you think I'll get hit with a copyright strike?
He's like, you don't know why you're here, and I'm like, no, but here's a bottle of wine, and I'm a big fan. And he took me through all of that.
If I do, I'll just delete it.
Like, we were here to cast you as a part in our new Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian.
And how quickly was it apparent to you that politics was going to be a problem, either in the production of the show or on the set or in any way?
The interesting thing I think about this whole political thing in me is I'm not like,
not gonna lie, Gina Carano, you're looking pretty good today.
I've never been really interested in politics, and then
looking pretty good.
As soon as I started seeing what was happening.
I heard she dated Henry Cavill,
I guess, in 2020,
for like a short time.
I started looking up like,
yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll pause.
Yep, control.
Got you, bet.
And maybe I'm an adult now.
What are those lights in the background? I don't like those.
Responsibility to pay attention.
They look like heating lamps. Like at a casino.
When we first started having,
and they're very
problems was
eyeballs on you kind of deal.
On the pronoun usage, I think was the first problem. Maybe before that, well, because I was really upset about the shutdowns. I know what it's like to be working and then not to work, and then I know the depression that comes with not working, because my job
that's our Superman, folks.
On and off
that's our Superman. Hit it and quit.
You got a job and then you sit out a year, and you got a job and you sit out, and not having a job and not having purposes, it's devastating. You go through a depression. It's not consistent.
Yeah, welcome to life, Gina.
And
welcome
I think
to
I do
life.
with consistency.
What do you guys think? You think she got wrongly terminated, or do you think she deserved
pronoun? Because that was the first time you started really trending on Twitter for politics.
I ended up putting.
What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Should Gina still have a job?
Or Twitter bio. And 100%, it was 100% to go to the Twitter mob that was telling you what to do. And it had zero to do with trying to go after the transgendered community, because I would never do that. I'm just me personally, I'm not trying to target anybody or go out after anybody. And so as soon as I saw people started taking that wrong, I put right after that.
See, you know what I really do think?
Boop was like me just saying.
You know what I really do think?
I literally said to my friend, I was like,
let's stop it for a sec. You know what I really do think? What? Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know you could do that. Although I have to step over here. And I just dropped all my pens. Great. Oh, that's, I don't know. I kind of like this better, but it's the wrong angle. So my microphone is on the opposite, on this side. Hi. Okay. So you know what I think? I think it's easier to ask or to look like the victim after the fact after you already said, it's easy to stand behind one of these, right? It's easy to be a warrior on your shitty Logitech keyboard than it is to admit you were wrong, right? It's so much easier to admit that I'm a victim. No, you said what you said. And you admit it in the interview that you voted for the first time this year. And all of a sudden you became this big warrior, right? Social justice warrior on Twitter. Like, first off, you've never voted, right? You've never talked about politics. All of a sudden when it was Trump in office, right? Then you were like, oh, and you started like talking out your ass, and now you paid the price. And now you want to claim that you're a victim. Of cancel culture.
Put something in my bio just to show like I can put whatever I want in my bio, just like they put like whatever they want in their bio, like Trash Panda and all this stuff, and like
Trash Panda. So what the fuck is that?
I just put these noises in my bio, and then there was this crazy meltdown.
You can't put noises in a bio; it's words.
All the fear and all of the stuff goes straight. She's
referring to the beep, bop, boop.
Like, whoa, what is happening? Like, I told you I didn't mean this towards this community, and like, you're misunderstanding it. And it was just a shock wave went through my body. So I was like, oh, this is what this feels like. This is uncomfortable.
So
she's been punched in the head how many times?
Lucasfilm and asked you to put out
this was a shock wave through her body.
How did they deal with that?
I had a publicist at the time.
I'm calling bullshit.
And they said, you have to put out an apology. This is messed up. This is awful. And I was like, okay. I did say right after that tweet, I clarified for everybody, this was not directed towards the transgender community in any way. And I've
see
also
those
been
shots right there. I like those
left
shots.
and right, and
the over the shoulder
it's very
ones.
ingenuine. And I said, can you just give me a moment because I'm kind of feeling emotional right now. And can I just do my own research? And so,
feeling emotional.
They were like, okay, yeah, do your research, but you need to get on the phone tomorrow with our LGBTQ transgender section. And I was like, I'm feeling very emotional. Can you give me a second? And they said, no, you need to do this now. And so I did.
Hold on.
I was like, okay, we have to do it now. Then let's do it now.
Hold on. Okay, she said, no, you have to do this tomorrow. Hold on. That didn't make any sense.
Celebrities apologize left and right. And
she said tomorrow, and then they said right now.
And I said, can you just give me a moment because I'm kind of feeling emotional right now. And can I just do my own research? And so, they were like, okay, yeah, do your research, but you need to get on the phone tomorrow with our LGBTQ transgender section. And I was like, I'm feeling very emotional. Can you give me a second? And they said, no, you need to do this now. And so
is it now or tomorrow?
Like, okay, we have to do it now. Then let's do it now. And so I watched their documentary and I got on the phone with them.
I think I'm just
and they basically
I have to go get my other chair.
Just two very gentle people, and they were like, we're sorry, like you stepped in what they call a landmine, and we can tell, you're not cured against us. And they actually reported back to Disney and Lucasfilm. They thought it would be a bad idea if they canceled me.
I'm letting my dog,
or if they
I'm letting the puppy sit in the comfy chair because he's injured.
Because I got on the phone with them, and I said, hey, I got on Zoom with them, and I explained, hey, I just I don't have any hate in my heart for anyone.
Really? Because
I stepped in.
I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of hate from you
and after that,
lately.
you said before that the Disney Lucasfilm folks said that you weren't basically to do any press after that for The Mandalorian.
Yeah, so we went through this really long thing.
They did. They warned her.
Back and forth, back and forth. They wanted me to say this. I felt like it was ingenuine. I wrote out like this massive
I have a feeling that's going to be truth.
That said,
I hate those lights.
I mean, I have it, and everything that I read through it, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I put out this statement now, it'd actually be.
Wait till you see Ben Shapiro
how I was
run his ads. One of them's about to happen.
They didn't want that. They didn't want that. I think they thought I was already taking too much attention off of The Mandalorian, which it was not my intention, you know, because I know how hard everybody works on it. Because I mean, we got down to this like statement within like 2 words.
Oh no,
like,
I think I
almost
skipped
like
over
2
that.
words. This ridiculous thing, and
His ads are utter
just
cringe.
Said it was not apologetic enough.
Hey,
and I was like,
make sure you get ExpressVPN.
I mean,
so
it was shocking.
your
Like,
data is private.
I want to communicate. They wanted me to get
ExpressVPN.
And all these Lucasfilm employees are railing me on their websites. I mean, one of them, creative director, had a GoFundMe, and in the GoFundMe bio, it was like, "This is because our ignorant actress." And
Kylie Jenner.
It was like,
that's hilarious.
So they wanted me to get on the phone with like 40 of their LGBTQ community, not on the phone, on Zoom.
On Zoom.
And I felt like you're all these people, all your employees are slandering the hell out of me right now. You think I want to get on a video where they can then film it, you know? And I felt very kind of insecure about that. So what I offered them was, you know, that restaurants at the time had, you know, started opening back up, and I was like, let me take,
what do you think?
4 or
Yay
5
or
of them
nay
out to dinner,
on
and
Gina
it'd be
Carano?
a person to person.
Yay, nay.
You can look me in my eyes. I can look you in your eyes, and let's have a genuine conversation.
Was Henry Cavill
and I think
smart
it's also a bit abusive that you want me to talk to 40 people and hear 40 people like. I just that have been slandering, like, and maybe not all of them have been slandering me, but a lot of them probably have.
Yay or nay?
And it was just like, wait, I don't feel like I've really like deserved this, you know? I mean, don't you guys see what's happening online? It's like all these bots. It's not even like faces. It's not real people. It's just, and it feels like I don't know who these people are. Children or just bots or whoever the hell these people are.
Twitter rage mob.
Yeah.
Bots.
And they're awful. And I actually asked the LGBTQ community leaders for the trans section, I was like, why don't you guys address that? It might be healthier if you address what's happening.
I don't know. Is that interesting?
The aggressive push. And
so she's saying
they didn't really have an answer to that.
So in a second, I want to ask you about
So Disney has their own LGBTQ like community
we're moving
leaders.
Through the sort of timeline here. We'll get to that in just 1 second. First, there's never been a more important time to protect your internet activity than like right this moment. This is why I urge you to get ExpressVPN. Everything you search for, watch, click online, it can be tracked by big tech companies that can then match
fucking
your
hate him.
True identity using your device's unique IP address. When I switch on ExpressVPN with my computer or phone, my IP address is matched by a secure VPN server. It makes it harder for websites to identify me, which is exactly the point. My data is my business. The ExpressVPN app also encrypts my network data to protect my sensitive information from being compromised. Plus, you can use ExpressVPN on up to 5 devices simultaneously, so multiple users on your network can stay safe with a single subscription. What I like most is how easy it is to use. It takes just 1 click to protect all of your devices. That's why they are rated the #1 VPN by CNET and Wired. The reason that I use a VPN, again, my data is my business. I don't want big tech that kind of hates me to be monetizing my data for their own gain. Stop handing over your data to big tech companies. Go to the VPN I trust for online protection. Visit expressvpn.com/pen to get 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/pen to get 3 extra months for free. Go to expressvpn.com/pen right now to learn more. All right, so let's talk about what happened.
One more expressvpn.com/ben.
With the higher ups with regard to LGBTQ issues. That was, essentially solved, but at the same time, they told you not to go on the press junkets, and they didn't want
Jack,
you to the press.
Ben would fuck you up.
And then things, it seems like, were pretty quiet up until about November. And the Hollywood Reporter later came out and they reported that Disney Plus and Lucasfilm were thinking about a spinoff for The Mandalorian where you would have a big role. They were going to present that to investors, and they decided that they were essentially going to kill that based on a couple of social media posts that you put up in November, particularly one
so
with
this is when we get
fraud,
to the investors call time.
So can you talk a little bit about that, and did they ever convey this to you?
Yeah, so I mean, they actually sent over a media trainer, which I felt like, okay, I'm down.
So they sent her a social media trainer.
She came in and
how did this lady still make these tweets?
On, and she sat in the corner, and she's been very cold. And she's in my house, and I asked her, I'm like, do you think you can take off your glasses so I can look you in your eyes, and so we can have a conversation? Because she was like, ready to hate me.
Hold up, you asked her to take off her reading glasses so you could look her in the eyes, or were they sunglasses? Because I'm confused. Why would you make her take off her glasses? What if she needs those glasses? What if she needs those glasses, Gina? So I can look you in your eyes. You know why she put that statement in this interview? So she would seem like she's really trying to connect with people. Please take your glasses off. Please, so I can look you in the eye and we can have a conversation. I guarantee none of this shit happened.
I think. And then, we went and we then sat down on the couch and we had a lovely conversation.
Oh, it was a lovely conversation.
She said, look, you offered a logical answer to an emotional response. And that's not what they responded to.
It was a lovely conversation.
They're only going to, it only helps if you offer an emotional response to emotional response. And that's what she told me. And I was like, well, I get that, but why can't you offer why can't you offer a logical answer? I mean, that should be your right to. My logical answer was, you guys
she got an ill scar on her face.
And there also is this massive mob out there that's just
I'm going to point at
bullying
right here,
bullying people left and right. That? So I had a great conversation with her, and she left beaming, and I
she left beaming.
A great conversation. It was
them nippies were beaming.
And then I don't know. I voted.
Sorry, I probably just laughed really loud into the microphone.
And
that's
that really
my fault.
is, even according to the sources that have talked to the Hollywood media, essentially what happened is that they were still getting ready to feature you in the Disney shareholder meeting and all of this, and then decided that they were not going to do any of that. And according to people speaking to the Hollywood Reporter, they decided months in advance that they were essentially looking for an excuse to get rid of you. Have they conveyed any of that to you, or how did you find out?
Who is that?
They had decided not to bring you on for.
Is that Jack or Justice?
Plus and Lucas.
Is that Big Drip?
Like boxers headhunt sometimes, and they forget to go to the body. I feel like Disney.
Oh, what a line that was!
Film, or whoever.
What a line that was!
Just certain people in that company.
You know how boxers?
I feel like
boxers headhunt.
I don't know how many months, and you can feel it. Just a couple weeks ago, Lucasfilm asked an artist that they employ to erase my character and put a different character in place. And, he proudly announces this on Twitter and erases my character and puts, another character in place. And
I didn't know they did that.
All the fans of Cara Dune were just
outraged. By the way, we're brought to you by Box Bar.
Add the character. Why did you
Make
have
sure
to
you go to
take
Box
off
Bar if you're ever in the Philadelphia area?
There's something wrong. Is Gina getting fired? I've been through so much, and I've seen so much now.
Subscribe.
Clearly, of the bullying that's been taking place. And I saw it before. It's not
become a patron.
I mean, I'm not the only one that's ever been bullied by this company.
See, my ads are quick.
I know that so deeply that I could share a story and it would turn things around in the media, but I can't do that.
What image is she talking about?
It would be selling out.
What image did they take her out of?
I don't really have the same views as, but I'm not gonna, sell out somebody to take the attention off me. So if that person said something about how hard I went to bat for that person.
Oh yeah, she went to bat.
It would change things, but everybody's afraid of losing their job.
So they announced publicly that you're not coming back after this post that you put on social media, and we'll get to the content of the post in just a second. Did they ever come to you and ask for an apology? Did they ever come to you and coordinate with you in any way, or did you just essentially pick up a newspaper?
I wonder who the execs at Disney were, or Lucasfilm. They were like,
and
they're just thinking to themselves, like, what are we going to do with this woman?
Trending, and the Fire Gina Carano hashtag worked.
So Disney never contacted you and asked for some sort of back down or some sort of explanation.
It worked. That's
you're done,
for sure.
And you find out essentially the same way everybody else did.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw somebody from the company accidentally sent me a conversation of that they were tracking the Fire Gina Carano hashtag on content that had nothing to do with me. It was actually had zero to do with me. And then all of a sudden, I always get thrown in the mix. Like, okay, so this is trending, but let's put her in there, Fire Gina Carano. And
I feel like Disney doesn't really care.
Sent me an email, which was
or doesn't really need
so
Gina Carano. I don't know why they would go through all this trouble.
I know that there's some people that went to bat for me, but I know that they didn't really win out in the end.
So let's talk about some of the controversial social media posts, because I think it's good.
All right, so here's where we get into the nitty gritty.
People have deliberately misinterpreted nearly everything.
Yeah.
So
we get really deep here.
There are a few of them. There was the one right after the election in which you essentially said something that I think virtually all conservatives believe, which is if you want to stop voter fraud, you need a voter ID. We need to tighten up the voter procedures. For some reason, people found this very controversial.
Right.
So that one seems fairly self-explanatory to me.
Yeah. Well, it was this is not something I say with pride, but it was my first time voting.
Okay.
So there, right?
I have never voted before.
She makes her first mistake.
I know I'm late to the game
by
here,
admitting that.
I never.
You have no credibility
really
at this point.
That it counted,
right?
And
Especially when you're talking politics all the time.
Politicians had never really turned me on, and so I don't pay attention.
You're telling me Joe Biden doesn't turn you on, Gina?
I pay my taxes, and I pay a lot.
He's utterly sexy.
So I just figure, okay, I'm doing my duty, and I'm just going to keep on fighting. What I've been trying to do is just get my career going and keep on plugging through to where I can get this bigger opportunity. The mail-in thing.
Can't believe she doesn't
we
find
got
Joe
an extra
Biden
mail-in. Everybody I talked to got an extra mail-in ballot. And so I'm like, okay, so this is my first time voting. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this and I'm going to do my part so that way I can actually talk about it. Because everybody says, you can't talk about it unless you vote. And so I agreed with them. So I never talked about it. And then when I went in, I was ready with my ID, and I've got and they just asked my name and they asked my address.
All right, so I can back this statement up, though.
Required or not.
That they rarely ask for your ID. Because I've never been asked my ID when I vote.
Because that's what,
it is
they
pretty,
were like, no, you're fine, just go. And
it is pretty weird.
You're not going to check this? This is an important thing that I'm trying to do right now. I'm actually, I want this to count.
I already played that.
And so that was very
Sleepy Joe.
Confusing for me. And so when
Trump's an idiot, but whenever he called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, I would fucking die laughing.
Why? I feel like there's a lot of outrage about this, and this is confusing to me as a newcomer into this. And so I just thought, well, the experience I went through was there was no ID, there was no cameras. It was on the
Sleepy
beach.
Joe.
It was in this little hut on the beach, and it was very.
Who the fuck votes in a little hut on the beach?
I thought that this could be a positive thing, and we should probably jump on this now if this would ever be a future, because people in 2016 were talking about it. So it's not something that nobody was ever talking about. And so I was well, let's get to the point as a nation where we don't have to really question this anymore. Because I think that's a really dangerous thing. And I wanted this all to end.
Weird,
and I wanted it to be okay, this is your new president, or this is the remaining president. And let's
never asked me for my ID when I vote either.
And it didn't stop at, it didn't stop from there. And I wanted everything to stop from there. And so that's why I put out that post.
So as I say, that one was, to my eyes, very uncontroversial. Then you put
Look at his eyebrows. They're so full
fairly
and weird
commonplace
looking.
thought in
They're
conservative
like giant
circles.
caterpillars on his
meme about
eyeballs.
taking the mask off your eyes.
Very
so you can see what's
uncomfortable.
really going on.
Right, yeah.
And the way I interpreted that, and virtually every other conservative I know, was all you were saying is that a lot of the stuff that's been presented about COVID has been exaggerated or not based on science or based on politics.
And just bouncing around. It's just been bouncing back and forth. And it's masks are bad. Okay, now masks are good. And they don't have masks on. And there's just been so much hypocrisy. And they have those little edited videos where you can see the Democrat leaders just completely the hypocrite. It was I just always
it's ironic to me that she's all of a sudden this expert in politics, yet it was her first time voting this year. She had never talked about politics openly
put that out because I thought that was a good way to
all of a sudden she's this conservative genius, right?
We need to start paying attention to the hypocrisy. So for me, it was just
and I'm not telling you that I'm a conservative. I'm not telling you I'm a liberal. I'm not telling you I'm anything. I am what I am, but because I don't really talk about politics.
To my eyes, for
however,
conservatives particularly very uncontroversial.
I believe what I believe.
Then we got to the one
but
that they
on my platforms, I do not like to express what I believe.
We'll get to
there's a time and place for everything.
That had to do
this is not the time nor the place.
First, let's talk about
social media is absolutely not the place.
Sometimes I look super tired because I have 3 children. And you may have noticed that Gina Carano, she's been saying that she is short on sleep. Well, I have referred her to my friends over at Helix Sleep because Helix Sleep has a quiz. It takes just 2 minutes to complete. It matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that will be perfect for the way you sleep. Everybody's unique. Helix knows that. So they have several different mattress models to choose from.
Does he literally just have his interviewer sitting there while he does this?
Sleep hot. They've even got a Helix Plus mattress for
Tell me
plus-size
these
folks.
are pre-recorded.
It's been awesome getting unboxing videos from so many of you who also found the Helix mattress of your dreams. So if you're looking for a mattress,
I hope
take the
these
quiz,
are pre-recorded.
order the mattress that you're matched to.
Ads,
The mattress comes
if he
right
does
to your
this while they're
doorstep for free.
there,
You don't
like if
ever
I was
need
the
to go to a
interviewee,
mattress store again.
I would laugh
Helix
directly
is awesome,
in his
but you don't
face.
need to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. Just go to helixsleep.com/Ben, take their 2-minute sleep quiz. They will match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They've got a 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. So what exactly do you have to lose? The answer, of course, is nothing. I have a Helix sleep mattress. My wife and I did that 2-minute sleep quiz. They made a mattress just for us, and it is indeed fantastic. Right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Ben.
My wife and I.
It's helixsleep.com/Ben for the special deal.
Throw in his
Go check
kids
them out.
and his wife because like he was
Let's
a super
talk about
virgin.
the social media
He's one of
post
those,
that
like,
brought the world
you know,
down around your ears. This is a social
doesn't
media
have sex
post in
till
which
marriage. Not that there's
essentially
anything
you were
wrong with
making the
that.
argument
Truly, there's
that
I
bad
respect
things,
it,
the
but
way
like,
you treat your neighbor can slide over
he's just
into
an
actual
interesting
oppression of
character.
your neighbor. So it's a
That's for
picture
sure.
of a woman, a Jewish woman in the Holocaust running away from Germans, and the caption essentially made the argument that Nazis didn't start by killing people and common Germans didn't start by going along with the Holocaust.
Yeah,
this
so
all
this is
started
rough.
by people dehumanizing people who live next door to them.
Mhm.
And the reaction to this was that somehow you were attempting to downplay the Holocaust, or that you were comparing Republicans to Holocaust victims,
Oh, he
Mhm.
or
does it
something
on
like
the
that. I wanted to
spot?
give you a chance to
Jesus
sort of explain what you
Christ.
were thinking and what you meant by that.
I am been so inspired by like the gentle spirit of the Jewish people going through that time. And you know, like you watch I think I watched this older Holocaust survivor, her court case, and they found this old Nazi man, and he was old, and they like rolled him in on a stretcher, and like they really played this up, and she forgave
They rolled him
him
in on a
she
stretcher.
forgave him in court after putting her through what he did
On a
and she
stretcher?
faced him. And I'm always so inspired by these stories. And I always wondered, like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? So when I posted
On a
that, it wasn't
stretcher?
something that I felt like was controversial. It was something that I thought, well, maybe all of us need to ask ourselves how that
My
happened.
Lord.
Because it's important. The Post never said anything about Republicans or conservatives. It doesn't say anything about that in there. It was more about like, people tearing each other apart. And I thought it would be more of a thing where you bring people together. I was like, oh, this is like, bring people together. But now after hearing so much, and I'm actually grown through the experience of just knowing that, that's
Guys, let me know in the comments what you
fair
think
to the Jewish
so
community
far
to-
about Gina Carano. Are you
just
feeling
throw
for
this
her?
out here
Are
so
you
much, like, when
empathetic?
say
Are
the
you
word
sympathetic?
Nazi and when you call
Or
someone
do
a
you
Nazi,
stand firm on the fire
and,
hashtag fire Gina Carano
you
thing?
need to have a little bit more.
Where are we thinking? What are we
respect
thinking
on
now?
it. And
Are we
so,
standing
like,
with
I understand
the
that,
hashtag, or should we
but,
cancel Disney
it was no way
Plus?
my intention.
I am not
I
swayed
got
by
every
this.
single big publication saying she's comparing conservatives and Republicans to this. And that's not really what I was doing. I was saying we as a people, because I still am very fresh to this political, spectrum. I mean, I have love for everyone. I'm not a hateful person. In fact, I go out of my way, and I have gone out of my way my entire life not to be a hateful person. And yeah, I've fought in the ring, and I do have hot blood. But it's usually hot blood when it deals with people being bullied. And when I saw people being bullied,
unpopular
that were
opinion,
silenced
I
and
believe
spared
in the same thing
speak.
that you do, Christian.
I'm not. I don't want to.
They do have the right to fire her.
Create art.
Let's pause it for a moment. Oop, got the ducklet pause here. They do it. They're a private company. They have the right to employ on their own terms, and they have the right to terminate on their own terms. Each actor, I'm assuming, just because I would naturally assume that that each actor or actress or non-binary, non-gender person, I don't know if the word is the word actor or actress, whatever, but each person that is hired by Disney and Lucasfilm has to sign a contract, an employment contract, right? And in it are certain disclosures and agreements that you have to make in order, like while you're hired by their company. While you're hired by their company, I would assume that you can't go out on social media and relate things to like Nazi Germany or Holocaust, things like that. I would assume that those are built in there in some form or fashion. I know that it's called employment at will, so that they can terminate you at any time for anything. I've been hired by companies that have had that. That I wonder if there's a different option here to like bring it up next to me. No, I don't think so. So I've been hired at will before, and I've seen people get let go at will due to things that they said, that they've done. Some companies don't tolerate any bullshit. So the moment that you do something that they don't agree with, you're out the door, and it backs them up. When you first get hired, you sign it and say, "Yep, I agree to being hired at will." And then you try to fight it once you're already fired. But no, you sign this agreement saying that this company that you're employed at can literally fire you for looking the wrong way at them. So it's an interesting thing, but again, it is a binding contract. Once you sign it, once you're employed by the company, it's their discretion at that point. So I don't know. It's not looking good for for homegirl here. Back to it.
But I have a big problem with bullies, and I have a big problem with, I don't have a problem with power. I have a huge problem with abuse of power.
Well, I mean, it was fair, and look, it was obvious to everybody, and I said this to you when we first spoke, that it was obvious that this had nothing to do with anti-Semitism. The post obviously was not anti-Semitic. You'd have to completely twist the post backwards in order to get to the idea that it was anti-Semitic, since it was specifically decrying the treatment of Jews. It was saying what happened to Jews was evil, and this should never happen again, and that's why you should be careful about how you treat your neighbor.
Yeah.
The Jewish community is, I think, properly very sensitive about Holocaust comparisons, and so I myself on my show said that we have to be careful about when we invoke the Holocaust. But here's the thing: Disney Plus and Lucasfilm don't care how you invoke the Holocaust if you happen to be of a different political persuasion.
Agreed.
No.
And I pointed out on Twitter.
I'll pause
right
it one more time. Okay. So my thoughts on this, and Lionheart Comics, you have a wonderful point here. The minute that we start allowing cancel culture to succeed, this is the problem I have with cancel culture and policing speech. I don't necessarily agree that she should have been fired for it. However, Disney is a private company. They can pretty much do whatever they want. I don't know what the contract that they signed at employment was, but I'm sure something was built in there that they can terminate her as they see fit, or they can amend her employment at will as they see fit. I'm sure that was built into it somewhere, or she would be taking legal action against Disney. The minute that we allow the liberals to police speech, rarely have we ever seen anybody take power and give it back, right? As soon as we start allowing them to limit who says what, who says this, who says that, we'll deplatform you. As soon as we allow that to happen, we're never going to get it back, right? They'll always keep pushing the line further and further and further, right? Pretty soon you won't even be able to, if there's a Republican president or a Democratic president, you won't be able to speak out against them, because that will be construed as some sort of hate speech. And that's like a worst case scenario, but that's the direction that it's headed. And that's an issue. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been fired. I'm not saying what she did wasn't wrong. I'm just saying that we need to be careful when it comes to limiting speech, right? Because these social media platforms are becoming part of free speech at this point. Whether or not we can see that or want to believe it, it is true. That's the reality of the situation, right? Yes, Twitter is a private company. Yes, Facebook is a private company. Yes, these are all private companies. However, they're becoming something more, and the laws haven't adapted it yet. The laws are still barely trying to catch up with social media. This is becoming some different thing. And free speech is really like, free speech is weird, right? Because it only pertains to certain things. Free speech isn't what people think free speech is. Free speech isn't what you would assume it is, right? Free speech is like, I'm not an expert and I don't want to pretend I am, but free speech isn't exactly what we think it is, right? So we just have to be careful with giving our liberties away. And you know, that I'm not being conservative, I'm not being liberal, I'm not being biased, I'm not being non-biased. I'm literally just saying what I feel is true. Regardless of left, right, red, blue, green, yellow, whatever. So we just have to be careful. We just have to be careful. Because all of a sudden, when it happens to you, you know, you're going to be wishing you did something sooner.
Pedro Pascal, who was your co-star in The Mandalorian, the lead in that show, that Pedro Pascal had put out a Holocaust meme in 2018 in which he not only got the facts wrong, he actually posted a picture from not the American border in 2018 and called it America 2018. He then compared the treatment of migrant children in 2018 to victims of the Holocaust in 1941, which is absolutely absurd on every level. And of course, Disney Plus and Lucasfilm had no problem with that whatsoever. They never said anything about it. They never responded to the comparison. They never said that it was anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic to make that comparison in any way. There was pretty obviously a double standard at play here.
Oh, and there has been. I mean, they've been all over me, and they've been watching me like a hawk.
Ugly those lights are.
I'm watching, you know, other people on the same production, you know, and they can say everything they want, and that's where
she has a nice smile.
Problem. I had a problem.
She does have a nice smile.
I wasn't going along with the narrative, and you know what? I adore Pedro. I adore him. I know he's said and done some hurtful things. I don't think that posting anybody's number on social media is okay. But I know that, you know, he thinks a lot of the stuff that I post, you know, like, but there's so much love there still, you know? And we had agreed after we realized we were a little bit politically different. We had an agreement that first and foremost, you're a human being and you're my friend.
Wait, who is she talking about?
And you know, the two sides that, you know, were trying to like drag us apart because we're both passionate. And, you know, and that's what's been really crazy is like, you see these people over here being so passionate. You see people over here being so passionate. And I love that we're just both passionate, you know?
Oh, she's talking about Pedro?
And we think a little bit differently, I think, through our different experiences. So I know that, you know, I know that we both have misstepped on our tweets, you know, we're not perfect, we're human beings. But he's not a bad human being. He's a sweet person.
Well, I don't think anybody thinks that any different. I think that the disparate treatment is the part that was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
It was like one meme that invoked the Holocaust to say we shouldn't treat each other badly is fireable. And the other meme that compares Americans, you know, trying to deal with a problem of migrant children at the border to the Holocaust, that is perfectly acceptable to Disney Plus and Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And then you saw the backfilled sort of post-facto explanation because it became very clear to even a lot of members of sort of the traditional liberal camp that what had just happened to you was wrong. You had people like Jonathan Chait, who is a traditional liberal, saying that this is like McCarthyism. You had people who are traditionally liberal saying that it's a mistake, that the censorship of a particular point of view, and that it was pretty obvious that you were being silenced and canceled because you were conservative. And so at that point, you saw the left swing into action and start resurfacing old media posts and then declaring those anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
So
that's what I don't like
when they
is when people bring up
December
posts from like
2020 post
the beginning when Twitter first came out.
Essentially, a bunch of old men,
like,
no
we've all said
distinguishing
stupid things
anti-Semitic
before.
features, which we'll discuss in a second.
We learned from
sitting
them.
over a Monopoly board, and the meme said something like, and the Monopoly board is sitting on the backs of people who appear to be slaves. And the meme says something like, if they stand up, then if we all stand up, the game is over.
I'm all set.
And the implication was made that this was an anti-Semitic meme and that you had known it was an anti-Semitic meme when it was posted. So I want to give you a chance to explain what you were thinking when you posted that meme. Because just for those who don't know, the history of the meme itself, it was a meme that was posted by allies of Jeremy Corbyn, essentially in Great Britain. The original meme had very Semitic featured people. It was fairly obviously anti-Semitic. It had characters essentially from Der Stürmer, the Nazi newspaper with the hooked noses and the beady eyes and all this.
Oh,
this
you didn't really miss much.
Didn't have any of that. So if you were not very deeply into politics, it's very difficult to imagine that you would even make that connection.
Right. And so usually I like to post, think pieces. And what I found is those are what get me in the trouble the most, because that's when everybody starts putting their opinion out there.
Think pieces?
Like the last posted, they were like,
no,
look what she said.
Think pieces pertains to like
why don't you guys do
writing an article?
Like,
no, you're think posting.
Conservative in that post, and so when people started saying that the game where if everybody would just stand up, I thought that once again, I thought that was something that we could all join in on, and I had no idea, obviously no idea that that the original one had been like I didn't know who those men were, but then I saw what they were saying, and then I saw the post and I saw the picture, and they were two different pictures. And so I really didn't know. I'm like, okay, so
I have no idea what she's talking about.
So do I take that down? Like, do I take that down when it's not the same picture, but the origins were? Because the idea in itself is that if we all join together, once again, like my other one, if we all join together and stand up, if you really go through what I'm posting.
Like I said, I think it's easier to like
people to think.
I think it's easier for her to be like, "Oh, I'm the victim now." But in reality, like I guarantee when she was typing all these stupid things out, she was like, "Oh, I'm such a social justice warrior. I'm so, oh my God, like, do you see what I do every day? Like, I stand up for what I believe, Karen."
I don't take those lightly. Like, you're calling me my soul, the blood that runs through me. You're calling me that. And I blocked so many people. I'm like, you say that once to me, like, you're done. I don't want to talk to you ever again. I don't want to see you on my feed. That was a lot of blocking. They're like, oh, she's got a blockchain. And I'm like, no, I'm doing it. Like, I'm pissed. Like, you just insulted
pissed.
Me. And my
fucking
heart,
Jackie.
I honestly do. I've gone out of my way. I know everybody on the set of Mandalorian or any set I've been on, my actions towards other human beings have spoken for themselves.
Oh, we got an ad. 1 second.
And I'm not a perfect human being. I have so much to learn, and I am going to make mistakes. But I know everybody on that set, and I know that even the people that were gunning for me, like, I know that so many people have met me and worked with me. I know that's why we might be seeing, I go out of my way to make sure. I am the one that on sets people come and cry to. I'm the one that sticks up for someone if they're being like, hey, this is enough. This person needs out of this. Like, they can't breathe. And I've always been like that. I've stuck up for like minorities everywhere. I've gotten in fist fights, I've been in actual fights growing up in Las Vegas because I cannot stand bullying.
And so why did you become one?
Yeah, I think I
don't understand.
I just wanted people to think, and I put up something, and people were putting their own perspective and spin on it, and then they put words into my mouth that I never say, and then they start, then it starts trending in all of these, these big newspapers and news articles, and you're like,
oh, God damn it. All right, 1 second. I accidentally, instead of start camera, I hit stop sharing. So bear with me 1 second. Yeah, I know, I'm an idiot. What's good? I don't know. This isn't so bad because now I probably won't get a copyright. Right now I'm playing 2 different videos.
Like I told, they're transgender people. I was like, let's talk. I'll look you in your eyes. You're not gonna feel hate. I promise you.
So in a second, I want to ask you about the decision to come work with us, because that's obviously something unique. It's never been done in terms of somebody from Hollywood saying, you know what, I can work over here and I'm just going to go do that. So let's talk about that in just 1 second. First, we have to talk about life insurance. So here's the deal. It's kind of hard to find affordable life insurance. People do it by word of mouth, not the best way to do it. Why not use
This
the
dude
best
is
tool available? I'm
literally
talking, of course,
so
about Policy
hard
Genius.
to watch.
Policy Genius
I
can
could
help
not
you
watch
check
this
off
guy if
two
she
big
wasn't
items
on
from
here.
your to-do list with ease. You can compare life insurance rates, and you can save 50% or more in the process. That means more cash to put toward the things you care about, whatever that may be. Here's how it works. First, you head on over to policygenius.com. In minutes, you can work out how much coverage you need and compare quotes
so
from top
much.
insurers to find your best price. Policy Genius will compare policies starting to make the most of February in minutes. Head on over to policygenius.com. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes and feel good knowing that your loved ones would be taken care of if, God forbid, anything were to happen to you.
Look,
Head on over to policygenius.com right now to get started. It's policygenius.com because when it comes to insurance, it's nice and very important to get it right. So in the middle of this, obviously, we here at Daily Wire have been
I swear to God, this dude has no
into
soul
the film industry.
at
We had
all.
released our first film a little bit earlier this year, Run, Hide, Fight. Our audience really loved it. And when we saw that you were trending, my business partner, Jeremy, and I, we thought, the first thing we thought was, number one, somebody should reach out to Gina because she's getting maligned unfairly. But number two, we should reach out to Gina because this is an opportunity for conservatives and people who think differently to say to Hollywood that you're not allowed to just cancel whomever you want. And I mean,
See, I
have
do
to say
agree
that
with
I
him
was
there.
amazed
You
at
can't
how
just cancel whoever
readily
you
you were
want.
willing to jump into a project with derelicts like us and willing to get involved in one of our projects. Because it is a unique thing. I mean, in Hollywood, typically the advice is keep your head down, make an apology. Maybe in 3-4 years, you can sort of wheedle your way back into the industry. But you didn't do any of that. You were basically ready to go from the moment I gave you a call. Wanted to get your perspective on that.
Well, because, in my newfound, finding my political voice, you're actually one of the people I found, as well as a bunch of, you're actually, your book was the first one I read. And it just really kind of, it was so simple that it really kind of explained like the events in such a, in such a good way to where it was like, it just felt logical. It felt logical. And
Caden's getting aggravated.
So I'm obviously like so excited that you called. I was prepared to at any point get let go because I've seen this happened to so many people. I've seen the looks on their faces.
Wait, he did a WAP video breakdown
that takes place. They've quit Twitter. They've quit speaking.
We have to watch
show up
that
to
after
their red carpets and they're depressed and they're sad.
We must.
There's hardened hearts there. And I was like, you're coming for me. I know you are. They're making it very obvious through their employees that were coming for me. And so I was like, well,
I wonder if I can move this.
I'm gonna go down swinging then.
Nope.
And I'm gonna stay true to myself, and I'm gonna let that speak. And I think that's speaking. So when you called, I'm still like, my body's still shaking. It's still devastating. But the thought of this happening to anybody else, especially like somebody who could not handle
What's up, Katsuka? 1992. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, baby. We're doing a little watch and talk.
Like that. And if I buckle,
what do you think? Should she have been let go by Disney and Lucasfilm, Katsuka?
They're not getting a good
what do you think?
Shake it growing up right now.
We're just watching
if
her,
I buckle,
her
it's going to make it okay for these
She was definitely canceled before she was fired, man. I'm going to have to agree.
And to do this to other people.
Ben
and they've
Gibbs.
done it to other people.
God.
And I'm not going down without a fight.
Well, we couldn't be more excited to be working with you, obviously. And you can see that the left is creating a whole new cottage industry for us because as they keep canceling people for no good reason, we are perfectly happy to work with talented people of every stripe, especially after the left decides that they are terrible.
So he's basically just promoting her working with him right now?
I want to backtrack here a little bit and talk about how you even got into acting in the first place, because you have the most unique acting story that I know of. I mean, you started by hitting people in the face. So
a lot of people.
Start with that.
Is this guy serious right now?
When people think actress, typically they don't think a person who used to be an MMA fighter. So first, and when they think MMA fighter, they don't tend to think female generally. So you were the first big female MMA star in America. How did you
Dude,
get into
so many
MMA?
fucking
That's
MMA
sort of a unique
people
career
or
path.
boxers or
Well,
wrestlers or
definitely not
actors
by my
now.
family's approval. my my family actually did everything they could to make sure that first sanctioned fight in Las Vegas for a female women's MMA match did not happen. And so I was having to go through all these extra tests, and I found out like who I love so much, my Papa Don, who passed away, and my dad, who's still around, had called the athletic commission, and my dad used to serve on the athletic commission, so they were, so I was going through some extra tests because he did not want me to be a fighter. They wanted me to, really go to school and become a doctor,
educated,
lawyer, and
yeah, I know. We all
my family's
did.
the type of family on both sides. You're not getting you're not getting anything for free. You earn your keep. You're responsible, and you get out there and you work. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing. And I don't like money being hung over my head ever. So this is just something. Fighting was just something that spoke to me. Like it just made me want to get in the gym.
True.
It made me.
True.
I was good at it. I've been in fights so many times in Las Vegas, anyways. Never that I started. I was always like defending people. It's like I am able to walk away from a fight, but when I realize it has something to do with somebody else, and I have there's this hot blood that goes through me, and then
I don't know how many more times I can hear the words
happen.
hot blood.
But so yeah, I just started fighting, and I loved it. It's like all of the bad things I was doing, and I've had friends shot in the head and left in the desert. I have been stabbed in the head and left in the desert in Las Vegas.
What?
Overdoses and
stabbed in the head
of like this tragic thing. And I was like, okay, why don't you just try to give life a chance? And I started training and fighting, and it just became my new addiction. And from the moment I started doing it, everybody was pointing a camera at me. I was like, I'm actually extremely shy. I'm actually like, it's hard for me,
Oh, there it is. There's the other ad.
Having things.
ZipRecruiter.
But I think I'm getting a little bit better at it.
So I will admit, although you probably couldn't tell, being that I am such an Adonis-like figure, I mean, such an amazing Greek god of masculine power.
Are you fucking
I'm not a person
kidding
who's
me,
done
dude?
a lot of fighting. As you maybe you might have guessed that. I don't know.
No, you never know.
Yeah,
Did he really just say all
most
that?
people picked up on that. In any case,
Hold
what is it like
on.
to be a professional fighter? What is it like? That's always been
things I was doing and all that.
Hold on.
I've had
Let's
friends
take that
shot
back
in the head
real
and
quick.
left in the desert.
I need to hear him just say this stuff again.
And left in the desert in Las Vegas. Overdoses and the whole story of like this tragic thing. And I didn't.
Did he just?
I was like, okay,
really just try to up himself.
Try to give life a chance.
I hope his wife's watching. So
I started training and fighting, and it just became my new addiction. And
yeah,
from the moment I started doing it, everybody was
so
pointing
she'd be
a
like,
camera
Ben,
at
what
me.
the fuck are you doing to this? What, you trying to?
I'm
get her
actually
into you?
extremely shy. I'm actually like, it's hard for me, performing or talking and having things. But I think I'm getting a little bit better at it.
So
Here it
I will
is.
admit, although you probably couldn't tell, being that I am such an Adonis-like figure, I mean, such an amazing Greek god of masculine power, I'm not a person who's done a lot of fighting. As you maybe you might have guessed that. I don't know.
No, you never know.
Yeah, no. Most people picked up on that. In any case, what is it like to be a professional fighter? What is it like? That's always been fascinating to me because as somebody who, went to Jewish day school and basically fights consisted of people, randomly wailing on each other without any sort of real form or. Let's put it this way: no one from my Jewish day school ended up as a professional fighter. So, what is it like being a professional fighter? What's it like walking into a ring and knowing that you have to beat the hell out of somebody else in order to win?
Well, I think it starts in walking into a gym, and the most beautiful thing about walking into a mixed martial arts gym is it doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are, if you're a cop or if you're not. It doesn't matter who you are. You get into that gym and you start training together, and it's everybody in that gym. And, you get humbled every single day. And then you learn how to be a part of a team. And then you start taking care of each other. And then you start seeing, you see all the weaknesses of the ego flare-ups. And then so, you really have to balance your ego in an MMA gym. Because if your ego gets ahead of you, that's a weakness. So I love that. I love genuine and I love real human beings. And so,
oh no, Katsuka.
That was
we
like
all
a
know he
place
was
of
being
like
sarcastic.
everybody in this, everybody belongs here. And the fighting part, that was hard, but there's nothing like
I liked when he
facing a
related himself
fear,
to, I'm like an Adonis-like male,
and
huh?
it's very intimate. It's like
What?
I'm attracted to intimacy as well. So when you look across a ring and you're looking at that person's eyes, this is all about to get very real, and it's only going to be me and you, and there's going to be a genuine interaction. And I crave those kinds of things. That was addicting to me.
Did you have to learn to take a punch? I mean, how does that work? As somebody who has full-time security, I will never have to deal with this. So.
I don't know.
I had to throw that in there, didn't he? I have full-time security.
I have an incredible...
Because everybody wants to kill me.
I'm like my nose, I think, it just like, it takes, if I bleed, I'm hurting because I'm not a bleeder, and my chin is just good. So I have this special little talent that I have. I hit pretty hard, and
what?
Like I've been very complimented on how hard I can hit, and so I became addicted to it, and I still have a little bit of an addiction to it.
Do you still do MMA in your
my whole garage is like the whole life. I have so many friends that are fighters, and they're so real. Like you point a camera at them and it's like effortless because they haven't sold themselves, they haven't sold themselves. They own themselves, and they know that they're going to take themselves into battle against another person. And I like that as well. Like being a part of Hollywood, people are stabbing you in the back left and right, and people are willing to cut your throat just to get another job. And you're like, whoa, like I've never been that way. I'm never going to, actually, when I did American Gladiators, we were doing the jousting thing, and I took down this girl, the bigger girl. I took her down, and it was her dream to be American Gladiator, right? Like she wanted to be an American Gladiator. And like I took her down in like 2 shots, and then she ran to the bathroom and started crying. And I realized at the moment, I was like, oh my, I am not going to take this job away from her. Like we're doing tryouts right now, and I just knocked her off of that. And I'm not really super passionate about being like put in spandex anyways. So I was like, and so like I kind of just like exited like the tryouts, and I jumped in my Impala, and I was driving back to Vegas from LA, and the producers were calling me up, and they always, I keep in touch with them sometimes, and they're like, aren't you glad we made you do that? But like, and I finally picked up, and the producer was like, he was like, Gina, please come back. And I was like, no, man, like I'm not about to take that job away from that woman. She wants to be there. I don't care if I'm there.
And the reason I love doodling is because
shit
I
all
have
over
to
American
try and educate
Gladiators then,
clients, and it's a lot more.
I don't care if I'm there.
And they're like, what? Helga? No, we love her. And I was like, okay, but I still don't really want to do it. And it took them 4 phone calls in order for me to like, I showed up the day of filming, and they hadn't even gotten an outfit for me. And I showed up, and like, they ended up using me for almost everything, like physical, like the wrestling and the pyramid and everything, because, just because you got muscles doesn't mean you be so athletic. So it was such a fun job, and I'm glad I did it.
So what is your sort of daily workout regimen like now?
Well, for the last week, it was a little bit of crying in bed.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
I do want people to know that, this has not been easy. And I think, I'm a human being. I have so much to learn and grow. And I am deeply understanding. It's like the curtains got pulled, and I'm seeing so much. And so that's been a very large realization. So I do think when this does happen to people, it's like, being canceled might become trendy one day. But don't think that when it happens to you, it's going to be easy, because it's not. It's going to be maybe possibly one of the hardest things that you've ever been through. But I think, each day that goes by.
How much longer do we have in this fucking interview?
Stand up and find your legs again. And you stop feeling sorry for yourself, and you show up. You show up to an awesome opportunity with people who want you to sit at their table, I think it was Nina Simone that said something along the lines of, you need to understand when love is no longer being served at the table. So you need to understand when to leave. And
no,
okay,
you left pretty
I'm not going to
forcefully.
shove myself down
They didn't
anybody's
ask
throats.
either. They told.
We disagreed. It didn't go well. 2020 was a very emotional year for a lot of people. Okay, I'll get up and find another table and hopefully invite more people to that table, because I'm about love and real, true diversity.
What was it like to move from MMA into Hollywood? How did that transition actually happen?
So moving from LA to Hollywood, I had just lost the biggest fight of my life, which that was another time where I was kind of feeling like
moving from LA
There was
to
some controversy around that
Hollywood.
fight, no? With regard to the person who you were fighting?
Oh, Cyborg? Are you talking about steroids?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's not my job to go pointing the fingers at her. So I take the loss. I'll take it on the chin. I'll take the loss, because what happened to me the next week was kind of similar to this situation. Like, you showed up when I need, and real, true diversity.
What was it like to move from MMA into Hollywood? How did that
into
transition actually
MMA
happen?
into Hollywood.
So
I was
moving
like,
from LA to Hollywood.
did you
I
just
had
say
lost the
LA
biggest
to
fight of my
Hollywood?
life,
It's the fucking
that
same
was
thing.
Another time where I was kind of feeling like staying in bed for a week.
There was some controversy around that fight, no? With regard to the person who you were fighting?
Oh, Cyborg? Are you talking about steroids?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's not my job to go pointing the fingers at her. So I take the loss. I'll take it on the chin. I'll take the loss, because what happened to me the next week was kind of similar to this situation. Like, you showed up when I needed somebody, when I was in just hurt mode. And when I was in hurt mode, Steven Soderbergh showed up, who I didn't know what that was at the time. And he said, they like, oh, Steven Soderbergh wants to have a conversation with you. And I'm like, who's that? And then we had a beautiful conversation, and he said, okay, well, is this going to happen really quick or not at all? And it happened. And then I found something tricky and new, because being an athlete, it's like you always have to be yourself out in front of everybody. And I've always been really attracted to art, because I think art really does change the world.
No, you've been attracted to being
I love
fake.
putting out things where it's like,
is
think
what you're
about it.
trying to say.
And everybody sees it differently. That's my favorite. Everybody feels it differently, and everybody finds different movies and shows and art, and they find them at different points.
We need to be
in their life,
careful with cancel culture.
They are. I love that.
Ultimately, she said what she said.
So here's my opportunity, because I cannot paint.
She needs to take responsibility for it.
And
she needs to say that she was wrong.
So I found an art that I dove into, and
or she, at least it won't happen on social media again.
That's not
because
easy.
it's not
Sometimes
illegal
I think,
to think what she thinks.
It was a little bit easier.
Or say what she said.
At least you didn't see the knife coming through your back.
And the reality.
So in just a second, I want to ask you about the response that you've gotten.
The reality
is to Daily Wire
she has
and
a
what we're doing.
platform.
And I want to tell you about the response
she
we've got.
To be held responsible.
First, let's talk about your employment situation. How do you get better employees at your company? It can be really tough to find the best candidates. Finding great candidates for a job and hiring them, it can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. And you can post your job to some job board, and then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. But you really shouldn't. Instead, you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BenGuest, because I have a guest. ZipRecruiter does the work for you. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to over 100 top job sites with just one click. Then, ZipRecruiter's matching technology finds people with the right skills and experience for your job, and it actively invites them.
Look at the caterpillars on my head.
Qualified candidates fast. So, while other services may overwhelm you with applications to sift through, ZipRecruiter finds you what you are looking for, that needle in the haystack. In fact, ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post ZipRecruiter.com/BenGuest. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/BenGuest. ZipRecruiter. It's the smartest way to hire. Let's talk about reaction that you've gotten on a personal level.
How is that not awkward?
The announcement that you are going to come make a movie with us. I can tell you the reaction
Katsuka,
on our end
he drops live ads
our
at least 4 times during the show, and they're all unbearable.
Company. People are,
and he says the fucking name of the ad 90 times during it.
People are pumped about it, and they understand that it is a challenge to the Hollywood system, not just because we're making entertainment, which they're excited about, but
one more time,
because it really is a challenge to the monopoly that Hollywood has, where they get to decide who cannot, and people are excited to be part of the fight. What's the response that you've been getting?
The response has been basically that's why I think I've been in tears. Like this overwhelming
ZipRecruiter.com/Ben
people
Guest.
sending me. I mean, when I am at like my lowest, people are like pulling me up in droves. And, you know, so many people are like, they're contacting me. They're like, you know, Gina, you're so brave. I'm still so afraid. And I just think, oh man,
so afraid
you
of
should be
what?
more afraid that you're being made to feel afraid for what you think. That's what should make you feel afraid. Because
oh my God,
I got 2 new nieces and 1 on the way. I don't have any children, but that sets in for me. You know, I gotta make this place a better place for these kids. So many people.
I have not. I try not to watch this guy. He kind of aggravates me. But I would like to see his WAP review.
So it's not necessarily. By the way, it's not necessarily like who you think it is.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, not all Zack Snyder fans are good people, or at least
you know,
bearable
start going
people.
For everybody that might have been supported for me, because you'd be surprised how many people are into this. The fans and the people have rallied behind me and spoken with their voice and made their voice heard. And I feel so stripped in a way of like, like I feel so down, but at the same time, I have the biggest fire inside of me, because I feel the need for this for people. They're drinking it like it's water. They needed somebody to do this. They need somewhere else to go. They're all afraid. And
I don't understand.
Just like what? You know, I've been saying, like, you know, it's gonna suck, but you defend one person, you see how they treat you, you understand what people have been going through that are getting canceled, especially people, you know, that maybe probably didn't deserve it, you know. You'll experience it for yourself, and then you'll be a better person for it. Because I have to get to the end of my life, as we all do, and I have to meet my maker. And so when I get there, like, now that's more like, I want to be able, when I show up there, I can be proud of that. So it's, you know.
Wow, so deep, Gina, so
that's
deep.
That's my life goal now. And the movement's been insane. I'm busier than ever. I can't even keep up with it, because I lost, you know, half my team. I can't even keep up with the incoming. I mean, there's so much, and I'm trying to like read all the scripts, but like, it's so exciting. I mean, I said it earlier this year.
She's
that,
literally
like,
I feel like she's lying
project.
right here. There's so many scripts to read. Yeah, I'm sure people are jumping on the fucking really Gina Carano bandwagon.
I just didn't think it was going to come like this. Like, I didn't think it was going to like really like. I knew there could be a possibility, but when you think something's a possibility and then it happens, you're like, wow. It's like that, huh?
And it's scary. And it did take courage for you to do that. As I say before, like the typical Hollywood move. And I know so many people in Hollywood, right? I was living in LA until 5 minutes ago. I wrote an entire book on television. I have a lot of friends who work in Hollywood at the highest levels. And when I get together with them, we have a rule, which is that we used to get together at the Coffee Bean on the corner of Coldwater and Ventura Boulevard. And we wore baseball caps, and we would go early on a Sunday morning, because the idea was that if we were ever spotted publicly together, then these people would be canceled. And they knew this.
You deserve to be compensated after an auto accident or an injury caused by someone else. But the process can be very confusing,
her name's
and the
Jessica.
Insurance companies really work against you to
She's got a little bit of a long head.
Absolute.
And
you notice that all Jessicas have like long heads.
Somebody new to the political world. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, I'm like listening to a lot of you guys, and like and I'm like, you guys were making the most sense to me. That was all. Like, you guys seemed intelligent, well-spoken, you're speaking some truth, you're calling out like hard truths. And that's why I was like, okay, you know, that's why I kind of have found myself on the side, you know, I guess. And but like, I would go down and you know, like to a barbecue on the beach in California, and all these people are like, hey, we agree with you.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's messed up, isn't it? And I'm like, this is your house. Why are you whispering?
That is certainly the attitude in Hollywood.
That's insane to me.
It is overwhelming in Hollywood. And the number of people who are in positions of real power in Hollywood who agree.
We have
with
5
us
minutes
on
left,
politics,
folks.
is not insignificant.
Woo!
There are a significant number of people in power, but they also understand that their career is on the line, and they're deeply afraid that their number is going to get pulled next. And you see it week in and week out. I mean, the same week that they canceled you, they went after Chris Harrison on The Bachelor for the great sin of suggesting that a female contestant ought to be given grace after she went to an Old South costume party 3 years ago. And he ended up being suspended. He made an apology, which you should never do, never apologize to the mob. And he ended up being suspended from the show, essentially for the rest of the season. He may never get his job back. This is the thing that people in Hollywood are deeply afraid of. But unlike those people, you actually had the courage to say, okay, well then you don't want me here? Fine, I'll just go do my own thing.
Yeah.
And that does take a certain amount of stones, frankly.
I don't know. That's the way I've lived my life. And I wasn't going to stop now. It's not that I didn't love the job. I felt that what was happening, the silence that was happening, the fear of having open conversations that was happening, I felt like that was insanely wrong. And I don't.
I might even need an edible after watching this.
I don't want to talk about it. But
do any of that.
I don't want people to be afraid.
I think one thing that folks don't understand outside of Hollywood is how many people work on a set. So they think that when it comes to a Hollywood set, it's basically the actors and like one camera guy. Right. And that is not correct. I mean, even in shooting this show, we have, a dozen people in the room just to shoot this show. To shoot an actual full-fledged TV show with multiple cameras and all this, you're talking hundreds of people on the crew.
Yeah.
And
the crew and me are always the best.
Well, that's the point that I was going to make is that, when they cancel you, you're a top of the line person and you have a lot of name cachet, you're very famous, you're very popular. And so for us to make a move with you made a lot of sense. But our goal here is to build something that's big enough where if somebody who's below the line gets canceled, that person has a place to go. Because those are the people who, first of all, are disproportionately conservative. A huge number of people who are the actual people who make things go on a set are conservative.
Yes.
And those are the people who also have the most to lose in a way, because those are the people who, if they get canceled in Hollywood, it's not like they can necessarily walk across the street to a nascent startup and make that happen. Hopefully we can build something where those people don't have to live in fear that one day they might be caught listening to the wrong podcast and get booted off the set and they're just the grip.
Yeah. And I think if anything,
does that really happen?
I think there's a fire right now in people's hearts. They're speaking. The people are speaking. They're speaking right now out there. And I think honestly, Hollywood's shook. I think they're shook. I think they see the hypocrisy. I think they see the double standard.
She just used shook in a proper interview.
I read this somewhere. It's like, don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth. And you got billion-dollar companies raining down on me from every different place. And do I really even need to say anything? Like, you're showing it. You're showing what you do to people. You're showing you don't give them a voice. You're showing you're not going to listen. You're not going to see a person past, what you've read in a very skewed article. You're showing what bullies you are against one voice here. One. I'm that petrifying to these billion-dollar companies? Well, good. I hope I am. And I hope everybody else becomes that. I mean, this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of one voice. Imagine.
Well, it is, again, amazing that the same company that has decided that you are too much to work with is thanking the government of China in a province where they are committing genocide against Uyghur Muslims at the end of Mulan. So clearly they have the double standard is extraordinarily strong with regard to.
I always thought that was interesting.
Companies. So I want to ask you, Gina Carano, a few more questions, starting with what kind of movie do you want to make here? I mean, because we're actually going to have to make a movie at some point. But if you'd like to hear Gina Carano's answers, you have to be a Daily Wire member. Go to dailywire.com.
I'm good.
Use promo code Gina for
I would rather not be a member of any of your bullshit
over there.
Okay. Yeah, that was an hour and 25 minutes. I will never get back. Am I mad? No. Am I disappointed? No. Did I have fun? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I thought that was, you get to see what get to see what they think or she thought, or what she wants to tell people, what she wants to say that the motivations were. So at least we get to see both sides at this point. You can't hate that, right? You can't hate getting both sides of the story, which brings me to my next topic that I did ask Jody from Jody's Corner to come on the show. He hasn't answered yet, but I'd like to ask him some questions about how he feels, the things that he said, and I'd like to clear up a couple things. I'd like to ask him the questions that no one else would, and I really truly hope he finds his way to what my message and gets back to me, because I think that would be a really fun interview. I'm not a huge fan of Jody's. I'm not a fan in general, but I wouldn't mind having him on and just getting his side of the story with no bias, no looking for clout, just the unaltered, unredacted version of his story. So we'll hopefully get that taken care of and hopefully get that made. We'll see how it goes. Lots of people messaging me about it though, saying don't do it, don't do this, don't do that. I'm going to do it if he says yes. I'm not giving him a platform. I'm having him on so I can ask him questions about why he said the things that he said, right? I'm trying to get to the core of why he did what he did. So just because just because someone says don't do it, I am going to do it if he does say yes. So I hope y'all watch. I really do. I think that'd be a really interesting. Oh my God, Logan, this fucking dog, man. He thinks he still has all of his legs. You don't have all of your legs, buddy. You can't be jumping off chairs because you're going to hurt yourself again. No wonder he got hurt. Oh man, best of luck to you, brother. Yeah. All right, so let's read this Vanity Fair article. Together, let's read the fucking Vanity Fair article. Let's fucking read it, kid. It's actually a really good article, I must say. Get a nice shot right here. So you get Jason Momoa on that little this thing that we saw flash in one of the behind the scenes takes, where he's kind of rolling around Henry Cavill during like the Heroes Park thing. I don't want to join. Nope, I'm all set. All right, yeah, this is a great shot. Great shot. I love how Zach dresses on set. He's so stylish. All right, so here it is. Justice League, the shocking, exhilarating, heartbreaking, true story of the Snyder Cut. So Zack Snyder, the director of Justice League, has never seen Justice League. His name is in the credits as the filmmaker, but he's never sat through the version released to the world 3 years ago. His wife, Deborah, who produced the movie, advised him not to. In late 2017, months after the couple cut ties with superhero epic amid an interesting, demoralizing battle with Warner Brothers, Deborah Snyder sat in a screening room on the studio lot alongside Chris Nolan. So I think this is interesting, right? So apparently she sat down and watched Justice League. And then she was the one who basically advised Zach, listen, buddy, you don't want to watch this. They took your movie and they ruined it. They reshot 3/4 of it, and they just kind of, took it apart. It's not your movie anymore. Don't even bother. So what happened to Justice League was a crisis of infinite doubt. You see that they did there? You see that? The crisis of infinite doubt? I get it. I see what you did there, Vanity Fair. A team of executives who lost faith in the architect of their faltering comic book movie empire, and a director in the midst of a family tragedy that sapped him of the will to fight. Joss Whedon, a director from another universe, the Marvel Cinematic one, left the Avengers after 2 movies and crossed over to comics rival DC. Picking up Justice League not where Snyder left off, but remaking it significantly with extensive rewrites and hurried reshoots, just as the studio demanded. On November 17, 2017, the team up between Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash didn't so much debut in theaters as crash into them. It was sneered at by critics, shrugged at by baffled moviegoers, and all but disowned by those who created it. Whedon had since been accused of unprofessional and abusive behavior on set. The director declined repeated requests for comment. He left his name off the movie except to claim a shared writing credit with Chris Terrio, who had written Snyder's previous installment, 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. We get some great photos here of Gal Gadot and Diana, or playing Diana, I should say. And this was actually before she was cast. This one right here. This was before she was cast as Wonder Woman. This is the day that she basically did like the screen test or a screen test for BVS. She looks absolutely like, my God. Ugh, all I can say is my God. Let me take that comment down. I didn't know that was still there. Sorry about that. Like, how is this? This is a literal goddess. This is a literal goddess right here. My God. Whoo. Oh, God, I need to take a break. I need to go take a break. Publicly, everyone close to the movie practiced their smiles and rehearsed their talking points in the hopes of doing no further damage to the project. Not that it helped much. The movie earned $657 million globally, which sounds like a lot of money until you consider the nearly $300 million budget, including the reported $25 million for Whedon's reworking, plus a conservative estimate of $100 million to $150 million in marketing costs. So they're really left with barely anything. Factor in the sizable cut theaters take from the box office, and a return of only $657 million is a clear money loser. 6 months later, Justice League's box office was dwarfed by Marvel's own all-star showcase, Avengers: Infinity War, which flexed its muscles at $2 billion. That's because that was well put together. That's because it was a good movie. But, well, on to the next thing, I suppose. After their private screening of the Whedon cut, come on. That was a perfect chance to call it Justice League. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you take that shot? Why didn't you take it? So after their private screening of the Whedon cut, Nolan and Deborah Snyder emerged into the light with a shared mission. They came and they just said, you can never see that movie, Zack Snyder says during lunch at his Pasadena office. A modernist series of cubes jutting from a hillside that overlooks the Rose Bowl, which is where he does a lot of he'll do like the fan streams there. It's actually a really nice house. Because I knew it would break his heart, his wife adds. That might seem overly dramatic. It's just show business after all, but the Snyder's hearts had already been through a lot. The battle over Justice League was agonizing, but it wasn't the worst thing to happen to their family that year. Not even close. Professionally, at least, things have vastly improved. For years, DC fans and Snyder enthusiasts who worshipped his high-octane brawn fests like Dawn of the Dead remake, his ancient Greek Battle Saga 300, and his twisted Watchmen adaptation, beat a drum on social media demanding that Warner Brothers return Justice League to its original filmmaker and allow him to share his version of the movie. They dubbed it #the Snyder Cut. The fans could be clever, but many were horrifically toxic. So this is what we're going to include here. This is really what we're including here. Nothing about AFSP, but we're going to start this. Not even, maybe you could throw it towards the end. Maybe. But we're really going to throw this in here, right at the beginning, and call everyone toxic. Most of them, I should say. Nothing about all the good that's been done. Nope, we're going to say toxic right off rip. My God. All of them were All of them were relentless, and they grew more numerous over time. Last May, they finally got their wish when Warner saw the potential to leverage all the free publicity and do something unprecedented on its upstart streaming service, HBO Max. It's not uncommon for directors to lose creative control of big-budget studio spectacles, or for other filmmakers to step in. But it's unheard of for a studio to return an exiled filmmaker and offer back the power and creative freedom it had yanked away, especially when some of the most beloved and lucrative characters in pop culture history are involved. The hashtag Snyder Cut is coming on March 18th. Got some really cool pictures here of Rorschach and Watchmen and 300. I thought those were great. And I noticed they kept like a black and white theme for most of the pictures. Obviously, this one's not black and white, or this one's not either. But there's most of what Zach will shoot is black and white, which I thought really looked great here. Okay, ready for the director's devotees. It's a Hollywood ending. It's a Hollywood ending. Why can't I read all of a sudden? It's a Hollywood ending for a Hollywood story. But for the truly devastating thing that happened to Zack Snyder and his loved ones in 2017, there can be no fix, no do-over. In the throes of the conflict with Warner Brothers, the Snyders' 20-year-old daughter, home from college and in the middle of a long struggle with depression, took her own life. After 2 years spent largely focused on their other children and extended family, Zack and Deborah went back to work. A difficult but vital part of the healing process. When they spoke to Vanity Fair for this story, they were completing Army of the Dead, a zombie-filled heist extravaganza that will launch a new multi-pronged franchise for Netflix, as well as restoring Zack's original vision for Justice League. The latter will be a 4-hour event for HBO Max that will raise money for suicide prevention programs that could help spare others the grief that shook his family. Help spare others the grief. What? Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. Spare others the grief that shook his family. It's such a lightning strike in the center of this whole saga, Snyder says of his daughter Autumn's death. It has informed everything we've done since. Their daughter's death was the reason the Snyders walked away from Justice League, realizing their fight and spirit was needed at home with their other children and with each other, rather than in a losing battle with a powerful studio. Now she is the main reason he decided to come back. At the end of the movie, it says, "For Autumn," Snyder says, sitting in the shadows of a darkened editing suite, frames from the movie frozen on the screen around him. When he talks about his daughter, the otherwise scrappy, ebullient, 54-year-old filmmaker always looks away. Without her, this absolutely would not have happened. This is where we get our first look at Jared Leto's Joker in this form, with like the little twig hat, which I thought was really great, really great. Zack and his then wife, Denise Weber, adopted Autumn when she was 1. A little over 1, he says, smiling at the memory of her wild energy, still an infant, but crazy. Autumn was slightly older than the couple's son, Eli. They had two more children before they divorced. Snyder had 2 sons with the line producer, Kirsten Island. What? Oh, okay. I fucked that up. That's my bad. Before marrying Deborah, his longtime producer partner in 2004, with whom he adopted 2 more children. The filmmaker has often said being an adoptive father is one of the reasons he was so invested in the story of Kal-El, a powerful being who became Superman thanks to the love and care of Jonathan and Martha Kent. More than 3 years after Autumn's death, Snyder still slips between the past and present tense when talking about her. She's the only dork, he says of this family. She was the only fan. The rest of them, he shrugs. Today, Eli is interested in filmmaking, but Autumn was the only one of his children who matched her dad's kid-like enthusiasm for gods, monsters, aliens, and superheroes. She's super creative, he says. She was a writer. She was at Sarah Lawrence to be a writer. Snyder swipes through his phone to show a selfie Autumn took in the Letterman jacket worn by Ray Fisher's character in Justice League, a football star horrendously wounded in a car accident and rebuilt by his scientist father in the half-robot warrior cyborg. Autumn had been in therapy and on medications, but the depression remained brutal. She was always wondering about her worth. What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? Snyder stumbles on his words, his eyes glassy. The conversation was like, "Of course, you're amazing. What do you mean you're worth? You're worth more than anything in the world." And she would just be like, "Yeah." Snyder says Autumn used writing to vent her pain, to channel it into words that might contain it or explain it. She adored sci-fi. Her main characters are always in this battle with things from another dimension that no one can see, says Snyder. But it's a serious war. And that war was happening to her every day. I think so many people that are in that battle and they smile and nod at you, the fact that a studio lost faith in Snyder's ability to make Justice League seemed mundane and pointless after Adam's death. It's such a lightning strike in the center of this whole saga, says Snyder. And in a lot of ways, it informed everything we've done since. The Snyders tried to keep going for 2 months after Adam's death, finding solace in finishing Justice League. But by then, the situation with Warner Brothers had imploded. The official story was that the Snyders were voluntarily leaving the movie due to their family tragedy, and that Zack had handpicked Whedon to complete the movie he had planned. Only half of that was true. In 2010, when he first began working with DC movies for Warner Brothers, Snyder was promoted as a visionary director, though critics sometimes differed. Even his hits could be divisive. He'd emerged from music videos and commercials with the breakout remake of Dawn of the Dead in 2004 and followed it up with the otherworldly, visually audacious Tale of Resistance 300, which became a box office behemoth in 2007. Given his choice of projects, Snyder picked Watchmen, the iconic graphic novel that had scorned the classic tropes of superhero storytelling and explored the corrupting nature of power. His 2009 adaptation upended comic book expectations just as Hollywood was building epic new franchises. Snyder then made a pair of box office disappointments: a digitally animated adventure about warring owls called Legend of the Guardians, and the surreal, and some would say sexist, action movie Sucker Punch, before being called to take on a legend among legends, Superman. When it debuted in 2013, Man of Steel established Henry Cavill as an object of global thirst. Just as 300 had done for Gerard Butler and his washboard abs, Snyder's twist was to present a conflicted Clark Kent rather than the sunny alter ego played by Christopher Reeves. Snyder's Superman was willing to kill for what he thought was right. Okay, so this right here is taking it out of context. Really is. He wasn't willing to kill all the time. Like, he doesn't fly around and he's like, oh, I might have to kill this guy. No. He killed Zod because he was left with no option in the moment. If there was anything else he could have done, he would have. He didn't kill, oh God, this is so out of place here. Which many longtime fans of the character found reprehensible. And though he still saved the world, he never felt like he truly belonged in it. The studio had hoped for more than the $668 million it made at the box office, but Man of Steel fared well enough for Snyder to get another shot. This time, bringing Ben Affleck into the universe as Bruce Wayne in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The subtitle was a giveaway. This would be a prologue to Justice League, a superhero crossover event that some moviegoers had been pinning forever. Snyder wasn't just making big budget tentpoles. He'd become the architect of the entire DC cinematic universe, and his casting choices continue to resonate. He chose Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman and produced Patty Jenkins' standalone movie about the Amazonian princess. I remember Gal saying to me, Zach, I was going to quit the business. I was getting ready to just move back to Tel Aviv and just have a life there. I was done with Hollywood. I was done doing this. I was done going to do this one more audition. Then she came in and I was like, that's my Wonder Woman. Now she's the whole world's. As with Man of Steel, Snyder continues to challenge expectations and norms, which sometimes led to pushbacks from the studio and original fans. Aquaman, for instance, has always looked waspy. What does that mean? What does fucking waspy mean in the comics? In casting the role for Batman vs. Superman, Snyder decided to forego the blonde hair and blue eyes of the comic book hero in favor of the long, dark locks and smoky gaze of Jason Momoa, who had come in to audition for Bruce Wayne. He's a Pacific Islander. There's a connection to the sea. What if he's Aquaman? He remembers thinking. Everyone was like, you're insane. That is not a thing. Woo! Look at that shot. I still can't tell. Are those his nips? Cyborg. I mean, Ray Fisher, you might have some pepperoni nips if I can tell, if I'm looking correctly. It became part of a pattern. The studio gave Snyder the power to go anywhere he chose with its most valuable characters, and he always went somewhere other than what they wanted. The director says, still, to his credit, all the recent DC films have used Snyder's universe as a foundation. Even Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey, which take place in his version of Gotham City. The upcoming Flash film will connect all the disparate DC films by ricocheting through multiple universes, with Michael Keaton's Batman appearing along with Affleck's. But harsh reviews for Batman v Superman demolished Warner Brothers' confidence in Snyder, even the director's champions. All right, blah, 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 blah. Let's move on. It didn't work out for Snyder either. The studio said no. Wait, did I miss something here? Okay. In 2016, as principal photography got underway on Justice League in the United Kingdom, rumors percolated that Snyder had been fired from the film. That didn't happen, but Warner Brothers, then chairman and CEO Kevin Tushihara, did assign watchdogs in the form of DC Entertainment creative chief Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers co-production head John Berg. The etiquette was clear. At least one of them had to be on the set every single day. Berg, who's now production president of the Stampede, recalls that duty as a low point. It was really tricky and not a position that I loved, to be honest, he says. I tried to be forthright about what I thought creatively. My job was to try to mediate between a creator whose vision is instinctually dark and a studio that perceived, rightly or wrong, that the fans wanted something lighter. I was respectful of the director and didn't pursue things that were coming at me from the corporate side that I thought weren't in line with what would make the best movie. Snyder knew why Johns and Berg were on the set. You could say babysit, he says. Many filmmakers would have bristled at the intrusion, but he was gracious. It didn't bother me too much because they weren't that threatening. I just felt that the ideas they did have, where they were trying to inject humor and stuff like that, it wasn't anything that was too outrageous. All right, that's not. So Zach's always been like a nice guy, but Warner Brothers did nix some of his more sweeping notions for Justice League, like adding a romance between Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Amy Adams' Lois Lane, who was mourning Superman's death in the previous film. The intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized that the only way to save the world was to bring Superman back to life, says Snyder. So he had this insane conflict because Lois, of course, was still in love with Superman. We had this beautiful speech where Bruce said to Alfred, I never had a life outside the cave. I never imagined a world for me beyond this. But this woman makes me think that I can get this group of gods together. Then my job is done. I can quit. I can stop. And of course, that doesn't work out for him. It didn't work out for Snyder either. The studio said no. The downside of making epics and the studio's financial expectations for Justice League, Warner Brothers wanted a big round $1 billion in the global box office, which Snyder's movies had never reached. In January 2015, the director showed his first cut to Tushihara. It did not go well, according to Snyder and others. Tushihara, who resigned from Warner Brothers in 2019 amid being a sexual predator. We'll just keep it there. Among the issues, among the issues was the length of the film. There was a mandate from Tushihara that the movie would be 2 hours long, says Snyder. That order had a paradoxical impact because it meant eliminating much of the heart and humor the studio also wanted, like a comical romantic subplot between Ezra Miller's Flash and Kiersey Clemens' Iris, the latter of whom was absent entirely from the Whedon film. Snyder also saw a bigger structural problem with the make it shorter order. How am I supposed to introduce 6 characters and an alien with potential for world domination in 2 hours? I mean, I can do it. It can be done. Clearly it was done. He was referring to Whedon's version, but I didn't see it. Reports that Snyder himself asked Whedon for help were false. Johns, one of the studio-appointed babysitters, had been planning a Batgirl movie with Whedon, and Snyder and others say Johns recruited him to do rewrites for Justice League. Once again, Snyder was gracious, and even hopeful. I thought maybe he could write some cool scenes. I thought that would be fun. But soon it became clear that Warner Brothers was giving Whedon more and more power. Imagine seeing that, like seeing your movie just be taken from you, literally. He would not just advise during reshoots, but also do some directing himself. Snyder says he only had one conversation with Whedon about the studio's notes, reeling from Autumn's death and finding anguish in their work rather than relief. Zach and Deborah quit. We just lost the will to fight that fight in a lot of ways, says Zach. All of us, the whole family, we're just so broken by losing Autumn that having those conversations in the middle of it really became, I was like, really, frankly, I think we did the right thing, because I think it would have been either incredibly belligerent or we just rolled over it. One by one, he called members of his cast and crew. I remember I was in a movie theater. Coincidentally enough, Ray Fisher said on the set of Snyder's reshoots last fall, I was walking into the AMC right in Times Square, and I got the call from Zach, and he was saying that he had to deal with stuff with the fam, and he was having to step away. I had a trillion questions. My heart sank. Whedon rewrote and reshot about 3/4 of Justice League, from what Snyder can gather. When fans ask him about the details of the movies that bears his name, he usually has no idea what they're talking about. Worst of all, for Warner Brothers, Whedon didn't exactly save the movie. Oh, he didn't really save it. He kind of fucking ruined it, kid. Kind of fucking ruined it, huh? Kind of fucking ruined it. Oh, add it to stream. Sorry. Definitely fucking ruined the movie. Let's go on reading. I'm going to make it full screen for you guys so you can kind of read along with me. I forgot to do that. All right, so where were we? Whedon didn't exactly save the movie. When we got to see what Joss actually did, it was stupefying. So this is really the only part that I wanted to read with you, but I figured we could just read the whole thing. This is the part I wonder who the exec that said this was. Any ideas, guys? I think it might have been Diane or the other guy. Hi, George. Sorry. Hi, George. It is a tough read. I personally hate this article with a passion. Superman doesn't go on going full Homelander on people. That's what I'm saying. Cameron Harrington. I would hesitate to say Birds of Prey took place in Zach's Gotham City. I exactly agree with you there. Dark, again with this dark BS. It's not dark. Welcome to the real world. My goodness. I agree, guys. I agree. But JL would have hit 1 billion if they left it alone. I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to agree with you. All right, so let's get back to it. Okay, so he usually has no idea what they're all right, so it's a stupefying comment. Stupefying, there it is. Stupefying, says a studio executive who requested anonymity. I want to know who it is. The robber on the rooftop, so goofy and awful. The Russian family, so useless and pointless. Everyone knew it. It was so awkward because nobody wanted to admit what a piece of shit it was. My God. Justice League opened on November 17, 2017 and cratered because Cavill had been making Mission Impossible Fallout during the reshoots. Whedon's team had to digitally erase his fucking mustache in Justice League, which led to a bizarre warping of his face. The jokes fell flat, and behind the scenes, some of the cast had revolted. I wonder who those are. Fisher had publicly claimed Whedon was abusive on set, and that Warner Brothers executives enabled his actions. #enabled. Gadot told the Los Angeles Times that she also had a negative experience with Whedon, which she reported to higher-ups. After concluding its investigation, Warner Brothers announced that remedial action had been taken. Though the studio didn't offer specifics, days before that announcement, HBO, a division of Warner Media, parted ways with Whedon on the sci-fi series The Nevers. Fisher continues to clash with the studio and has expressed dismay at the outcome of its investigation. No surprise there. They were very loyal to Zach, and they were hurting for him, says Nelson. There she is. They were already talking to her. The former DC president. It would have been a difficult environment for any new director to walk into. I have no doubt about that. But then how Joss chose to handle that is Joss's to live with. In the aftermath of Whedon's version, a new narrative, I keep losing my spot. A new narrative arose on social media. #release the Snyder Cut. Snyder gradually began to encourage the movement, but it was hardly the first thing on his mind. From the time we left, says Snyder, it was not a great year, but we did a lot of stuff with the family. It was really important, an important year. That year together became 2. After grieving Autumn and starting to heal with his family, he began work on Army of the Dead, a visceral, funny, and exceedingly dark smash and grab story about the elite strike team that goes into a zombie overrun Las Vegas to retrieve a hidden fortune before the hot zone is nuked. Oh, okay. So they're pretty much, so they're about to nuke it to wipe it off the earth because it's probably the last place. The zombies virus emerges from Area 51. Oh, so aliens may be involved too. Get the fuck out of here. This is awesome. During a long interview, Snyder giddily scans through the concept art for an accompanying animated series, approving vehicles, otherworldly weapons, and supernatural beings. He makes suggestions for changes of his team's artists, all working remotely via Zoom. Behind him on the wall-length bookshelf, there is a frame with 2 photos, Autumn and Eli in their bathing suits as toddlers, beaming with the same smiles as their dad as he assesses his monsters. The Army of the Dead movie is a lot to tackle, and the related prequel and animated series even more all-consuming. Scott Stuber, head of the original films at Netflix, says it's a chance to build a world with a filmmaker who's hungry to return. Zach went through something very difficult, and I think he probably realized, like we all do, it's okay to be vulnerable. For those of us lucky enough to know him and Deborah, he's a very soulful, kind, and thoughtful human being. He's got his facade of big action movies and all of his bravado things, but there's a sweet kindness to him. Look at these pictures. Look at these. That zombie is awesome looking. She's smoking a Black and Mild. Ew. I wish they said it. At a time of stories of abusive creators, Snyder is an anomaly. Even executives who were sometime at odds with him agree that he's genuinely nice. I'd be stronger than that, says Silverman. He's a wonderful guy and fostered a wonderful working environment on his sets. He really valued the crew. He valued his cast. Oh God, this is fucking so much left. I'm going to skip some parts. Initially, says Snyder, Warner Brothers just wanted to release the raw footage on his laptop. I was like, that's a no. That's a hard no. We all know exactly how Zach would say this. That's a hard fucking fact. He says, and they're like, but why? You can just put up the rough cut. Snyder didn't trust their motivations. Neither would I. Fucking grimy motherfuckers. Fucking grimy motherfuckers. Ugh. Army of the Dead sounds awesome. It really fucking does, man. It really does. Snyder didn't trust their motivations. I go, here's why. 3 reasons. 1, you get the internet off your back, which is probably your main reason for wanting to do this. 2, you get to feel vindicated for making things right, I guess on some level. And then 3, you get a shitty version of the movie that you can point at and go, see, it's not that good anyway. So maybe I was right. I was like, no chance. I'd rather just have the Snyder Cut be a mythical unicorn for all time. Snyder can't be compromised. Snyder estimates that it costs around $70 million to undo Whedon's redo. That is the greatest line I've ever read in my life. For that, HBO Max gets 4 hours of hotly anticipated programming. And the Hollywood comeback story of a lifetime. Snyder himself gets nothing. I'm not getting paid, he says. He was paid the first time. Of course. This time, he wants creative control. Dude, he's doing this all for nothing. Right? He's doing this for us. and for AFSP. We should be so grateful instead of fighting with each other. In foregoing a fee, wait, what? He wants a creative control and a foregoing a fee helped. I don't get that. I didn't want to be beholden to anyone, and it allowed me to keep my negotiating powers with these people pretty strong. Fisher, for one, was eager to return. There's not a day that's gone by over the last 3 years I haven't thought about this movie, that I have not sat up at night thinking, what if the world we're in, this thing actually does get released, says the actor, sitting on a set in his grayscale motion capture suit. I probably should have let it go, but there was so much that we left behind in this version of the film. It's a completely different movie. As for the fan base, the Snyder movement has contributed $500,000 to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention through donations, sale of merchandise, and auction of props. Bet they wish they waited for that. People have been saying, oh, they attack people, says Deborah Snyder, her eyes tearing, but this fan base has saved lives. As much as they wanted something for themselves, they've come together for this amazing cause. You feel so helpless trying to help someone, and you don't know what to do. It's literally life and death, and I felt we didn't really know where to turn. Rebuilding the story he had envisioned is what invigorates Snyder most. He can go as deep and dark as he likes, and he can say to hell with DC's official timeline for the characters and let this alt version of the Justice League story wind up wherever he pleases. He has put Superman in a sleek black suit instead of the iconic blue and red. He's added the Joker, parentheses Jared Leto. He has reshot the ending with a hero cameo that will blow hardcore fans' minds. And what may be a divisive move, he's also presenting the movie in the boxy 4:3 format rather than the widescreen, so that one day it can be watched on IMAX screens. Some may be irritated by seeing Justice League on HBO Max with black bars on either side. Snyder isn't troubled by that. The director is also layering in some deeply personal elements. The movie closes with Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, performed by Alison Crowe, a friend who also sang at Autumn's funeral. It was Autumn's favorite song. Now it's an elegy to her. Justice League, however anyone feels about it, it's made of the things and people Snyder loves. When you think about all the catharsis of it, if I was a potter, I would have made some pottery to look for some way through this, he says. But I'm a filmmaker. So you get this giant movie. He wants people to love it. If some don't, he's all right with that. With all of it. Whatever comes, he's okay. What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? Zack Snyder is answering Autumn's questions for himself. What a beautiful ending. All in all, guys, the ending of this article is truly actually pretty touching. It's pretty fucking touching, actually, if you ask me. I'm not a fan of the. I'm not reading all of it. I'm sorry. I just my voice is going, and I have to be on Nicotina in a little bit, so I need to take the dog out and stuff. So I kind of want to just not that I don't want to read it. I already read it all. But what is this? Dark again with the we already read that. I'm shocked that they didn't ask Ben to direct the reshoot of JL. I'm actually pretty surprised too. That would have been a good pick, actually. Army of the Dead sounds awesome. All right, we already did this. WB are a bunch of phonies. I agree. I think it's Green Lantern. Yeah, who do you guys think the hero cameo is at the end? Kind of gonna, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little Green Lantern vibe. I'm probably going to cry at the end of the film. Hey, more power to you, bro. I'm probably going to cry too. I'm with you. I'm with you guys. I'll cry with you. Don't forget that on March 18th, we'll be here with you all day. If we've heard rumor is that it's going to be coming out at like 2 a.m. If that's the case, then at midnight on Eastern Standard Time, what we'll do is we'll go live at 12 and we'll go all the way till it drops on HBO Max. We'll then take a break. We'll sit down. We'll watch it. We'll all watch it for 4 hours, and then we'll meet back here after that. The minute after it's done, give or take 10 minutes, because we'll probably pause it here and there to like go to the bathroom or whatever. But we'll have all that scheduled, and we'll have that ready for you guys. How's the stream looking? Is it looking clearer? Is it looking good? Are we looking good? I paid the extra $21 a month for this. How are we looking? Is it all right? It's clearer, right? I think it's a little bit clearer. I think it's clear. I'm not going to lie. Bruce falling in love with Lois, who's still in love with Clark, sounds brutal and amazing. Fucking right does. Green Lantern. We can cry together. Yeah, baby boy. I love it. Stream looks good. Looks good. Looks great. I know, I was kind of getting sick of the 720p. And like, I have all this like nice equipment now. Well, I've had nice equipment for a while. It was just like the computer that was a problem. So now that I can like stream flawlessly and like share my screen and do all that normal shit, I figured why not pay for the full 1080p. So as you guys know, I announced it earlier. We're working with Ray Porter, who plays Darkseid, on a 3-episode documentary series about all of the stuff that we just read. We go into way more detail. We go into so much detail, and we're going to have everybody that featured in it. Film Junkie's going to be featured in the documentary. Nerdy in Many Ways, Garza, you name them, they're going to be in it. Lightcast. Lightcast is actually doing a whole hero's journey thing. It's going to be a really fucking great it's a 3-part series. The first one's going to come out March 2nd. The second one will be the following Tuesday. And then the last one will come out on the 16th, 2 days before. We'll wrap up the whole series 2 days before the cut comes out. So I think that's kind of perfect timing. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Right now, I am going to share with you the beginning. I'm going to share with you the intro. So let's do that. I just have to log into WeVideo, which is where I have it for now. I'm editing it. I'm editing it on multiple different platforms, but I figured I'll put it here. So I did the intro on WeVideo because it's pretty easy to do, but I'm going to show you the intro right now. Okay. The beginning of it, but I can't, we'll see where we end. But just so you know, this is a rough cut. This is not the official version. It does not have Ray Porter's voice in it. It has our producer Jack's voice so that I can start working the visuals. But this is the beginning of it. 1 second. Let's share my screen. And don't tell anyone I shared this with you. I'm not supposed to. Can you guys see the software? Okay, here we go. All right. Projects. That's not it. Let's go home. Okay, where is it? See, I work on a lot of things here. Where is it? Is this it? This is it. All right. Wait, what the fuck is this? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the intro. All right, guys. So this is the intro. This is the intro to the Zack Snyder Road to the Zack Snyder Justice League. That's the working title for it. And this is the intro that I've been working on. Let me know what you think. And let me know how it goes. Oh shit! I didn't share my my audio. 1 second. Oh, and by the way, when it plays, anytime it plays on a video editing software, it plays it in not HD so that it doesn't buffer. So if you do get a little lag, that's not me. It's the actual editing software. Sometimes it just plays it in like quarter speed. But so far, this is what we got. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick because I need to share my audio, which I'm not used to. I'm terrible at clicking that little button. But yeah, so this is, it's not much, but it's the intro, and I thought it came out good. Sorry, this part, this is just going to go away. I deleted this part. All right. Wait, what the fuck? Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, good. First of all, congratulations.
March 25th, 2016. A day millions of fans have been waiting a lifetime to see. Two of the biggest names in pop culture are about to face head-to-head in a cinematic matchup that would shatter box office records and mark a milestone in comic book history and film. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, was going to be a springboard for the burgeoning DC Extended Universe. A promise for fans of DC Comics who had seen the Marvel Cinematic Universe dominate the zeitgeist for nearly a decade.
I've always been
a promise that would culminate with one director's vision for an epic superhero blockbuster. That director's vision would be met with mixed reviews, anger, resentment, radical studio changes, and untimely death. What started as a launch pad towards the Justice League would become an arduous 5-year journey for one director and his fans. A journey that would unite millions across a divided globe as they chanted in unison, "Release the Snyder Cut."
All right. I can't go further than that. I'm sorry. Again, it's just a rough cut. That's the intro that I've been working with. That's just like a prologue piece. So there's another intro like after that into the actual chapter 1. The first episode will consist of chapters 1 and 2, including the prologue. But that is just a little sample. It's actually not the only sample. That's just one of the options. But it goes way further. And the intro is probably like, I don't know, probably 7 minutes to 8 minutes long. But it's going to be really good. God damn it. How long have I been muted? I've been talking for an ill minute now. God, that happened yesterday. It's because when I did this, like right here, I clicked the button I have to stop doing that. That's so fucking terrible. All right. Anyway. So what I was saying was that was just one of the options. We haven't got Ray's voice yet. Like we haven't got his files yet. He's still working on them. But Jack did Jack narrated the whole story. So I could plug it in and I could work and put all the visuals and everything else, and I could get a rough cut. And then once we get Ray Porter's narration and all the talking heads and, from all the other people, we can put those in and get it formulated the correct way. But it's been a fun process to work on, and I'm truly grateful. That's just one of the intros. That might not even be the intro that we actually use. The intro in total is probably 9 to 10 minutes long, and it goes through the whole prologue. And then it introduces everybody, blah, 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 blah. But that's, that was just like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes. So I hope you enjoy it so far. I just wanted to get a little look or a little, a tease a little bit of it for you, but it's going to be really good. It's shaping up to be a really, really, really great project. So I can't wait. And for our patrons, you guys will get to see it a little bit early. So if you do want to see it early, I would definitely sign up to be a patron. The link is in the description. The link is in the description. Guys, head over to Nicotina channel. Head over to Nicotina channel and join me over there in about, I don't know, 40 minutes. 40 minutes, something like that. It's going to be a really good time. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me. This is kind of a random, just bullshit thing that I wanted to do, just, to have fun. Make sure you become a patron. Like I said, shout out to these three for so far being our patrons. We just launched this program. Caden, Nick DePalma, and Odd, you guys are the lifeblood of the Pop Culture Corner. For everyone else, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. And I'll see you in a few minutes if you join Nicotina's stream. If you don't, tomorrow we're doing a live Q&A. Come, ask some questions, get to know us a little bit better. Just come in, ask whatever you want. And then Wednesday, Film Junkie at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. And then Saturday, we're having a Warner Brothers employee join us. You won't want to miss it. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.